Hello. Welcome back to Theology on Ice, a Reformed Catholic podcast. My name is Sean D. Gates, and I am the host of this podcast. And I just want to take a brief moment to really clear up a couple things, make sure that I am being completely honest and transparent with you and not giving off a false understanding of what it is that I'm trying to do with this podcast. This is a podcast where I talk about theology and things that I am personally working through and wrestling through and just trying to get to understand better. Now, I want to clarify that this podcast is not an attempt for me to teach you what is Orthodox or confessional Anglican theology. In fact, there's going to be a lot of things, even if you are a faithful Anglican, Orthodox, confessional, that you will see and you'll hear throughout my episodes that in some real ways actually might disagree with some fundamental teachings of Anglicanism. My goal is not to try to persuade you in my direction. I know that I'm not Orthodox, and in a lot of ways, I know that some of my theology is even a very small minority among the wide spectrum of what Anglicanism is. That said, the goal of my podcast, and I tried to mention this back in episode 6, but I don't know if I made it very clear. So I just want to do a really brief disclaimer video. The goal of my podcast is to say, look, I know that my theology is very Roman Catholic. And I know that there's a lot of things that I believe that are not necessarily Orthodox Anglicanism. Here is why I still think that I can find a home in the Anglican Church. Not that I am right. Not that I know better than the bishops in the ACNA. And in fact, at the end of all of this, if it all culminates in me ultimately submitting myself to my bishop and to the 39 articles and saying, you know what, maybe I don't disagree, or maybe I don't agree with this completely, but I'm going to submit myself to it willingly, then I will do that, and I will do that gladly. But for right now, what I am advocating for in this podcast is not to say that I know everything, that I can teach ACNA theology, but only that I can't be a Roman Catholic, and I can't be an Eastern Orthodox, but I can be an Anglican. Now the question is, can I be a good Anglican? Can I be accepted in Anglicanism with the convictions that I have? Because I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to pretend to be something I'm not. I have convictions, and I have very strong convictions, and I also know that I'm still learning a lot. I'm in seminary right now, and I'm trying to soak up as much as I can, and I am grateful for my time of growing, and I'm grateful for you guys listening. But if you are coming and listening to me for Orthodox, what Anglicans believe, you're probably listening to the wrong guy, because I am not an Orthodox confessional Anglican. I'm very Roman Catholic in a lot of my theology, but I'm making this work. I'm trying to be as Anglican as I can be, and I'm just trying to explain why I think that my Reformed Catholic view, my Anglo-Catholic, or as some people like to call me, an Anglo-Papist, which is actually more of a compliment than it is an insult, so thank you guys for calling me a Papist. My goal is just to explain why I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but why I think that the theology I have does not negate me the ability to go to church with Anglicans. It doesn't negate me the ability to go receive the Eucharist with my brothers and sisters in Christ who belong to the ACNA. What I am is a seminarian who loves the Anglican tradition and who loves the Roman Catholic tradition and is trying to explain why I can blend these two things together and go to an Anglican church and ultimately find beautiful communion with my brothers and sisters at that Anglican church. Why I don't have to change who I am to sit in those pews. So, am I confessionally Anglican? No. Am I Orthodox Anglican? No. Am I Reformed Anglican? No, but I don't claim to be those things. I say in my biography that I am a ACNA Anglican, right? That's where I go to church. I go to church with the ACNA, and I love the ACNA, and I love their mission. But ultimately, my podcast is not an ACNA podcast. My podcast is a Reformed Catholic podcast. Because I am a Catholic. But I'm not a Roman Catholic. I want to be an Anglican. But more than that, I am a Reformed Catholic. And I'm trying to explain why I think, this is my hypothesis, why I think that those things can go together. So, if that offends you, I'm very sorry. You do not have to watch my episodes. You do not have to listen to my droning on voice about theology. You don't have to. If you disagree with me and you just want to explain why you disagree with me in the comments, please discuss these things with me. But please do so kindly, because my goal is not to teach you what the ACNA believes. So if you're trying to defend the ACNA, good on you, please. They are great people, and I want them to be properly represented. So please defend the ACNA. But don't confuse me as trying to teach ACNA. My goal is just to say I am a Reformed Catholic, and this is why I think that my theology fits in, at least in a minority position, within the Anglican Communion. The goal is for me to invite you to pull up a chair, to light your cigar, and to grab your drink, so that together we can pour some theology on ice. God bless.